Well, ladies and gentlemen, the bomb has been dropped. Today, Thursday, we've got 4 days after the season finale against who the hell did we play? So long ago. I
The
don't remember.
Patriots.
Doesn't matter. Getting embarrassed by the Patriots in the season finale. We have the Miami Dolphins, not we, because I don't have nothing to say about it. Well, I do have a lot to say
I was
about it.
about to say, hopefully you do.
I have a lot to say about it. I have no say in it. Let me correct myself.
There you go. There you go. There
But
you go.
Stephen Ross woke up this morning and decided, after meeting with Mike McDaniels, that it was best for the organization for him to part. Coincidentally or not, the Dolphins have narrowed down their list of general manager candidates to 4. Isaiah is going to tell you the names of those 4 a little bit later. And on top of that, we've got John Harbaugh, unemployed, looking for work, more than likely going to be selecting his coaching position that he'd like to take of the 6 viable. Oh, there's 7 now. 7 of 8 viable openings. The Dolphins have not officially made contact as of yet, but more than likely, John Harbaugh knows the Dolphins are interested. Now, the question is, will he be interested in the Miami Dolphins? Isaiah, please tell us who are the finalists for the Dolphins general manager position.
Well, yeah, but I'm sorry, maybe I just zoned out, but did you even say Mike McDaniel was fired?
Yeah, I said Mike.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, I did not hear that.
Thursday. I said that.
Okay, my fault. I did not hear that part.
Woke up this morning, sat down with him, and then gave him the side shank. And
man, that's dark. That's very dark. Well,
hey,
4 candidates.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Mike will walk away with his guaranteed money. I believe he had 3 years left in his contract. He will be fine.
No, yeah,
and I think he'll be heavily coveted as an offensive coordinator in the NFL.
Heavily coveted. He is
not a head coach.
He is, to me, he jumps right to the top of the list of available offensive coordinator. I can name at least 5 teams that would love, some of them even playoff teams that would love to have Mike McDaniel as their OC, including my Philadelphia Eagles, who might take a L on Sunday to the San Francisco 49ers. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah, this team's offense.
You not feeling it?
The offense is putrid. Even though I'm like back home and like I can feel the excitement when I stepped off the plane and the little Eagles hats and everything, but it's like I feel like if you know, like this team, they need to look. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's talk Dolphins. Let's talk the 4 in-person candidates that are doing interviews. We got number 1. We got Chad Alexander, the Chargers assistant GM. We have Champ Kelly.
Hold on. How you just jumped Chad Alexander to the front of the list? Okay. First of all, and now you just put him at the front of the list.
First of all, the order with which I am saying this is the order with which it was given to me by the Miami Dolphins when they, blasted out, hey, we have 4 in-person candidates. I literally copy and pasted that, John, and tweeted it. Okay? So this is directly from the Miami Dolphins. So maybe they're at the top. He's at the top of their list, Maybe I'm regurgitating what was given to me.
So Chad Alexander was working with Jim Harbaugh. Yes. He has a history of working with John Harbaugh, and he just so happened to be a late add to the list.
Yes.
He has history going back to John Harbaugh to Jim Harbaugh with what was it? The Bears?
No, I think with John, it was with the Ravens. He was with the Ravens.
No. He worked with them as a young kid.
Oh, I didn't see. Educate us.
Anyway, let's move on.
Okay. All right, Chad Alexander, assistant GM of the Chargers. Champ Kelly, who obviously is the interim GM of the Dolphins. John Eric Sullivan, the Green Bay Packers' vice president of player personnel.
Hold on, let's put a pin in that because I would like to address these candidates as we go. A lot of people have an issue with Champ Kelly being in the process, which to me doesn't make sense considering people are associating Champ Kelly with everything that's wrong with the Dolphins. This man hasn't even been here for a year. He has literally not been here for a year.
Talk about it.
I have literally never seen him have a conversation with Chris Greer, and y'all are literally, and I'm talking months, them being in the same vicinity, not having a conversation, and y'all, he getting bullets for Chris Greer's work.
Yeah, nah, that's not fair.
Yeah,
that's not fair. That's not fair at all. All right, John Eric Sullivan. Obviously, that's one of the hotter names. I've seen a lot of clips. He's the VP of player personnel for the Packers. I've seen a lot of clips when I was doing his, just doing some research on him after they fired or mutually parted ways with Chris Greer. One of the things that stood out to me was his scouting background. Right, he was actually the person that put Jordan Love on the radar of the Packers' actual GM. Like, hey, maybe this is the guy to look out for. So to me, that's pretty impressive considering Jordan Love is one of the better quarterbacks. I'm not going to put a number on it, but one of the better quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, he's above average. He's one of the better quarterbacks.
Top 10?
Okay. Let's see here. I'm just in no particular order. Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, Herbert, Drake May, Hurts, Stafford. Caleb Williams is kind of playing well. Caleb Williams and Purdy, they're kind of right there. So I don't.
Purdy, and then you got to throw your homeboy Drake May in there.
I already threw Drake May's in there. So, those are already 10 names, and I haven't said Jordan.
Okay.
Love,
I have neither opinion on Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Liked him in the scouting process. Green Bay does things a lot differently than all the other franchises in the league. They are a city-owned franchise, number one, and they operate a little bit differently. If you come from the Green Bay tree, you're operating off the Ron Wolf tree, which means Ron Wolf does things a little bit different. Ted Thompson operate off the Ron Wolf tree. They learn things differently than most organizations, and they certainly do things differently. He is a very highly respected executive. One thing I do want to point out is that Atlanta, I know y'all haven't heard it already, but Atlanta already know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They know who they hired. They know what they're doing. So
does a name rhyme with Mevin Stefanski?
No.
No.
I'm talking about GM.
GM. Okay, my fault.
Specifically GM.
Okay.
Atlanta already knows what they're doing. They've got a GM in mind. He's got history with Matt Ryan, who is the head of the organization now. I don't know if he can officially get that title because he didn't go through any interview process, but the semantics.
Yeah.
And they have a candidate in mind. They have history.
Do you know who that candidate is? Are you at liberty to say who that candidate is?
Ian something. He comes from Chicago. He's number 2 in Chicago.
Okay.
And if it's not him, it's going to be one of the former candidates the Dolphins interviewed.
Ian Cunningham?
McKay.
Okay.
No, yes, McKay.
So John McKay, who's with the Rams right now, he is, hold on, I have that story right here. He is the assistant GM of the Rams right now, John McKay.
Supposedly he grew up with the owner, Blank's son, who's getting more involved in the ownership. They grew up together. So this is how
between that and then Ian Cunningham, who is the Bears' assistant GM. Okay, cool.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Now, next candidate.
The last but not least, he is the Niners director of scouting and football operations, Josh Williams.
Josh Williams. Now, here's what's interesting. They interviewed 3 candidates from the 49ers. All of them have ties to Mike McDaniel. Josh Williams supposedly has the best reputation. I hear he's the most connected, but he isn't the highest in power over the other individuals that were on that list. But neither here nor there. Maybe impressed them in Zoom. I can honestly tell you, I don't care.
Why don't you care?
I don't care because it makes no difference to me. The only thing I care about is are you a football guy? Are you a talent evaluator first? All
I
that
agree.
numbers crunching, semantics, analytics, bull crap.
I
If
agree with
you
you.
cannot evaluate football, get the bleep out of here.
I agree with you. I completely agree with you. I think a lot of times, especially now with this fad with analytics and everything, which works, right? Like there's some credence to it, but at the end of the day, the tape never lies, right? And I believe it was Sullivan talk about this.
If you know what you're looking at.
If you know what you're looking at, correct. Like if you know what you're looking
And there
at,
are a
the
lot
tape
of
is not
people
going to
who
lie.
have been trained to look at things, and all of us have been trained to look at things, so we should know what we're looking at. But there is a difference between being able to evaluate talent and actually knowing what to look for.
That's real.
Continue.
That's real. And so I think that has been unfortunately one of the things that has unfortunately hurt the Dolphins is that they have a lot of guys in positions who aren't necessarily football guys, right? And are making decisions based on not being football guys, right? Which, can only work so much, right? Especially now with the cap constraints that this team is in. You need someone in charge who can evaluate talent from the collegiate ranks and be able to bring them in and kind of like what Chris Greer said last year, right? Like you kind of need people that are NFL ready now and kind of work the margins when it comes to filling in some of the spots, not necessarily in the draft, but in free agency and stuff like that. That at least is my opinion on what they need to do, because with these cap constraints that they're under, obviously you owe Tua, I believe, guaranteed $54 million.
I'm not worried about Tua. I'm not bringing up
You should
Tua.
be.
We're not discussing Tua. Tua is over there. Tua is a problem to be addressed later. You got a general manager, head coach search going on. Yes. You got a head coach search that you haven't even begun. So we listen. There are a couple of things. You said something, and I am big on two things and have been since probably the very early beginning of the season. I felt like this whole joint needs to be scorched earth, cleansed. The culture, as many times as Steve Ross and whoever he hires has tried to change it and vowed to change it. And I've always heard the same thing, same thing from everybody who's hired. They're going to change the culture. We're going to do things differently and all this nonsense. It's all the same thing. This organization has cancer. It is terminal. You got to go through chemo. You got to cleanse it out your blood. It does not happen without a scorched earth cleanse. Now, is this technically a scorched earth cleanse? Probably not, because Brandon Sure is still going to be hovering around. However, Joe Rose, WQAM host, said something earlier this week that I do want to point out, because everybody knows who Joe is. Everybody knows who his buddy is. Everybody knows how connected Joe is. Joe does the broadcast for the team. But Joe's not very popular with the team because Joe doesn't always say what he's supposed to say. And he said something that I definitely could not ignore, which is he was talking about why the Dolphins are where they are in this mess that they're in. And he said, quote, keeping around your buddies because they're good tattletales and backstabbers. And, oh yeah. And I can testify I haven't been here for 20 years, but for 19 years, it has been the same thing over and over and over again. And generally because people are jockeying, lobbying, trying to control power, trying to regain leverage, trying to keep their sources, trying to whatnot. The biggest indictment of this was back in 2020 when they fired Brian Flores and kept his defensive coordinator and special teams coach, even though both of them were not very good at their jobs. Why? Because they were the tattletales. So, and that, you got to hook up the people who are hooking you up. And so that's one thing. Then I do want to bring it out. I was talking to one of my peoples, and they were giving me this long drawn out thing about why Mike should stay and why Mike is still good, generally because they're protecting their interests. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically said, you and what you are doing are the personification of what's been wrong with this organization for 2 decades.
Damn.
Because literally, you let people get in your ear with their narratives and their stories and their sob stories, and it's not me, it's him, and you believe it because it benefits you. And this is exactly why the Dolphins have been in the exact same position for 2 decades. Hopefully, and I doubt it, but hopefully Steve Ross has figured this out by now. And I think he has, and I'm writing a column about it on the Miami Herald. Steve Ross has a cheesy grin about him. I don't know if you've ever seen it because he's had no reason to show the cheesy grin.
Yeah, I've not seen that man like ever.
Steve Ross has a very cheesy grin. Okay, it is. You can find some pictures in the old days because photographers love it. It's a cheesy little grin, and he's a very unique individual, kind of nerdy-ish. I don't want to call him nerdy because he could buy my bank and foreclose my house. But it's, and he really can.
Oh, no, of course he can.
Yes. But I have not seen Steve Ross smile in a full year.
Yeah, I mean, there hasn't been much to smile about.
It don't matter. The Buffalo win, he could have smiled. Oh, he could have smiled. He could have been giving the cheese grin.
I think he was more surprised than anything else.
But let me get to the point. I think that this is a massive source of frustration. It was a decade ago when he told me I can go. He told me, in my world, if I'm struggling, I could just go hire the best executive from a company that's doing well and say, let me get that. He said, I can't go. This is back when the Patriots were at the height of who the Patriots are. He was like, I can't go get Tom Brady. Then, he tried to go and go.
He tried.
Yeah. Later on, festival, he's like, that's not how this works. So I've had to learn a lot of things. I think the way he's moved, the way he's operated, the way he has stayed quiet is the personification of him learning how to operate in the NFL since being the majority owner in 2009. He's made a ton of them. But what we have seen in this cycle is he didn't step out on Mike McDaniel and go be like, Harbaugh, holla at me, when he still had a head coach. They did not contact Harbaugh officially.
Yeah, that's real.
That's what a consultant is for, to have these hypothetical conversations just in case, something happens. I can just bring some information back to you because I'm a consultant. I don't work for your organization. So he hired a consultant. That's another step in the right direction. He took his time and listened to the general manager candidates. Didn't tell them, you're going to have to keep Mike, or you're going to have to keep Joe Philbin, or Chris Greer is going to be the guy you're going to have to work for. He just listened. And now we have these 4 candidates. How it's going to play out, I have absolutely no idea. But the Dolphins have had a nice little head start in trying to figure out how to address this matter since Halloween. If not, they were thinking about it before that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they don't come out of this situation with egg on their face. And by egg on their face, I mean you don't have to land Harbaugh. Harbaugh gets to choose. And me and you, we had this debate. You've written a piece. You make the argument the Dolphins are not a very attractive job. Tell me why. Tell me why.
I mean, to me, it's relatively simple. Obviously, this was written before the fire of Mike McDaniel. So to me, the most glaring, obvious reason why it wasn't the most attractive job is because you already have a head coach in place, right? That was the first one. Obviously, that's neither here nor there anymore.
And I can't tell you how it wasn't done. When Steve
I know, that's fair. That's fair.
Steve ain't say nothing. Don't conclude nothing.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. The second reason to me was you don't have a franchise quarterback, right? Like that's, the quarterbacks on the roster right now are Tua Tagovailoa and Quinn Ewers, right? As evidenced by the Week 16 yanking of Tua, he's not the franchise guy. We can see the decline in athleticism. We can see the decline in the arm. He's not the guy anymore. Quinn obviously is a little bit more of a mystery, right? There's been 3 games. To me, it's difficult to evaluate a quarterback in his future based off 3 games alone, especially when the last game you're missing your most valuable pieces, i.e. Darren Waller, i.e. Jalen Waddle, i.e. Devon Achane, right? So you can't necessarily get a full evaluation of Quinn Ewers in that. But as it stands right now, at 1:15 p.m., Thursday, January 8th, they do not have a franchise quarterback. And the third, and I think the most important thing to me, is the cap constraints. And we talked a little bit about this, right? There are moves that can be made to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room in the cap. But as it stands right now,
you can get a lot of wiggle room.
You can get a lot of wiggle room. But as it stands right now, again, 1:15, Thursday, January 8th, 2026, they have their 4th least cap space. And that to me is the most unattractive thing, considering look at a team like the Raiders, who I think have the 2nd or 3rd most. Even the Giants have like $4 million in cap room, right? Like it's a little bit of a. It's not a lot. You're right. But even the Giants have more than the Dolphins, who
got ability to create cap space.
Exactly. And like that's the thing. Like the Titans are another team who have a tremendous amount of cap space.
95
and
million.
they had the franchise guy. And we argued back and forth yesterday about, well, can you call Cam Ward?
Allow you to name. I am a Cam Ward lover.
Yes, but you were okay. I understand
love
that.
Me some Cam Ward.
But you wouldn't call him the franchise guy yesterday. You would not call him.
I ain't calling him the franchise guy.
See, now you're tripping.
What has Cam Ward done? Does Cam Ward have a winning record?
It's not to me. Okay, it's a very interesting because
does Cam Ward complete 60% of his passes? Nope.
He was throwing to you and me out there, but it's okay. Keep going. He was throwing to you and me and having
NFL
for him on the line.
I love Cam Ward. If you ask me right now to pick a quarterback in the league that I want to start for my team, that's not on a mega deal, I'm taking Cam Ward.
But he's not the franchise guy. He's not the franchise guy.
If you ask me to trade for Cam Ward, you can have whatever you want. Take it. I give you 3 first-round picks. You can have it. I want Cam Ward. However, I will not allow you to call him a franchise guy. He has played 1 season. He has not played 1 season well. He has shown you flashes. I will say Jackson Dart, who I don't even like, has had a better quarterback season than Cam Ward. I'm not even a Jackson Dart fan, and I still won't call him a franchise quarterback.
I agree, but let's back up a second. He had 1 better weapons, even though Malik Neighbors went down. He still had 1,000-yard receivers in Wendell Robinson. 2, he had a legitimate threat at the running back position, i.e. Cam Scatterboo, before he got hurt. Right, so those are 2 things that make them. A third thing is they at least have
without Scatterboo.
That's fair. And 3, and they at least had competent pieces along that offensive line. I like
they put a lot of.
Cam Ward had no offensive line, no receivers, and no running back.
The Titans had the best offensive line 2 years ago, right, in the NFL.
And what happened? I
mean, it happens.
Roster turnover happens, right?
Roster turnover. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so my point being is Cam Ward was dropped in a very unenviable situation. And then, like, I forgot one more thing to add to Jackson Dart, which I know you're factoring in, which doesn't necessarily count because quarterback is about throwing the damn ball. He had 9 rushing touchdowns, right? Like
and nearly 5,000 rushing yards. Yeah.
500. Yes, you're right.
500.
Right.
Yes. Yeah.
You're right.
You're
But
right.
again, to me, if we're talking about physically throwing the ball, who had better throws this past year? It's Cam Ward.
Without
And when I say and when I say franchise guy, to me, it's not a term that has to follow you the rest of your career, right? To me, if you're the franchise guy, it means you're the franchise guy right now. Like Tua entering the season last year, even though like I wasn't the biggest fan of it, he was the franchise guy. Now, when I write about Tua, it's the former franchise guy, right? Because like to me, it's a title. Things change, right? And so my point being, right now, they have a franchise quarterback.
You ever heard of the sophomore slump?
I have heard of the sophomore slump. CJ Stroud, my guy at Ohio State, is the biggest, he played right into that. But what happened in year
Washington 3? Played right into that.
I think that was more injuries more than anything.
It don't matter.
But you're not going to tell me that Jaden Daniels isn't the franchise guy?
This is what happens.
Is he? Wait, answer that question. Yes or no? Is Jaden Daniels a franchise guy?
I cannot. I cannot.
Yeah, come on.
I'm not giving you a franchise. I'm not giving you that franchise label as the franchise guy unless you got franchise guy money, and that doesn't necessarily guarantee you got your franchise guy.
Okay.
Or you've done it 3 years consistently.
Interesting.
I can't because things change. Trevor Lawrence, trash last year. Franchise guy now.
He was a franchise guy after they named the field after him. Whether you agreed with that decision or not, when they named the field after him, he was the franchise guy. Now he might not have looked the part, but he was. Like that's my point. I don't like to me. It's to your point. You're right. Like I agree investment, and I believe there is time is a part of it, but then also what you're doing in the currently, right? Like they're not. And also, I think it should be mentioned that when I call someone a franchise guy, it means that you're not replaceable right now. Like they could go if he goes out there. Wait, look, follow me for a second. Kim Moore goes out there, stinks it up year 2, right? They could. It depends how much he stinks it up, but they could consider, maybe moving on. But as it stands right now, January 8th, 1:21 p.m., the Titans and the Giants aren't going into the 2026 draft evaluating quarterbacks. They're not. They're not.
Should be, but I understand what you're saying.
They're not.
But also, there's not a very good quarterback class.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you there.
But I will not say somebody's a franchise guy until they've actually proven it and taken the team to great heights. Okay. But that's neither here nor there. What would you like to see Miami do moving forward?
To me, it's rather simple, right? I think you have to nail the GM pick. Whether that is, I think to me, the two ones that stand out is Chad Alexander and John Eric Sullivan. Those are the two ones that I'm a fan of. Because personally, I want to see how you draft, right? How you built your teams. And I like the way, obviously the Chargers had a lot of injuries on that offensive line this year, but they had one of the better units. And we'll have one of the better units once they get healthy. And I heard him actually this morning talk about just the identity that they tried to build with this on defense, right? I liked it. John Eric Sullivan is another guy who I've liked in terms of when he talked about scouting. Like
you do realize he was with the Jets too, right?
Chad Alexander?
Mm-hmm.
The Jets had great pieces. They just couldn't find a quarterback. They couldn't. They had a solid. Was he there during the Robert Saleh years when they had like a pretty good defense? And but they just couldn't.
Let me see.
But those are my two for them. Then when you go to coach, to me,
I mean, what you gonna say when he was part of the selection for Zach Wilson? Huh? What you gonna say?
I think that's a few things about that. One,
I'm just saying
NFL. No, the NFL definitely has a quarterback development problem. I wouldn't put that strictly on his shoulders. I think there's very few teams in the league entirely that knows how to properly develop a quarterback.
He was with the Jets from 2019 to 2024. So he was definitely part of the Zach Wilson selection process.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I don't know him. I've asked around. I'm behind a day on him because I've asked about the other candidates. He came out of nowhere. I think it's intentional that he came out of nowhere, and hopefully for very good reasons. How do you handle the Harbaugh situation?
I personally, and I tweeted this out earlier, again, no credible sourcing, just a hunch. Like, they've reached out to Harbaugh. It might not have been through a source, a traditional source that could, probably get leaked, right? But to me, there's no way that a conversation wasn't at least had, just considering, Harbaugh's connection to the University of Michigan, Stephen Ross's connection to the University of Michigan. Like, to me, it's back channel. There's back channel.
John Harbaugh doesn't have connections to the university.
Yes, he did. His dad was a coach there. That's the
okay.
That's
other than that,
was a coach. Yeah, but that's the biggest. No, of course not. Of course not. No, of course
he
not.
grew up there. His dad was a coach, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that is a big enough connection to me, at least, where it's like, okay,
You're acting like. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you're acting like, oh, yeah, he grew up there. I grew up.
He grew up there. His brother was a coach there. Like, let come on now. Like, he has connections to the university.
Played at Miami of Ohio.
He did play at Miami of Ohio, but he also has connections at the Miami of Ohio.
At Western Michigan, worked at Pittsburgh, worked at Morehead State, worked at Cincinnati, worked at Indiana. Okay. Sound like he worked everywhere but the University of Michigan.
You're right, but he had a sibling and a dad that did. So if you're telling me that's not enough to have a connection, you okay, I'll put it like this. Your daughter don't have a connection to Carroll City?
Nah.
She don't have a connection to Carroll City.
Her roots are from there.
She doesn't have a connection to Carroll City High School.
No. Her roots are from there, but and I've taken her there to our picnic one time, but
they don't got a connection to FAMU.
Don't know them.
Okay, obviously, like, this is a little bit like, your daughter is what, like 7, 6,
4,
4. So like, there's who knows what she, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. We're talking about 60-year-old men.
I hear what you're saying. I am a chief.
You are a chief, yes.
My children are not chiefs.
You're right, but she's a chief by association. Am I wrong?
No. You are
until she picks what high school she goes to.
And it'll never be Carroll City.
I saw that coming. I knew that was coming. But my point is, like, just because all right, I'll give you an example, right? This is very recent, right? My parents, they met at Clark Atlanta University, right? Well, back when it was Atlanta University. So,
but you a Morehouse man.
I am, but that doesn't mean that I don't have a connection to Clark. My parents met there. There would literally not be me.
Okay, you make a call and get some people on the line at Clark.
Oh, I could. Yeah, probably. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what? Yeah, I could.
I mean, granted, I get your point.
Yeah.
There are if I hear things, number one, and this is what I like. I'm on the ground level. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know people in the game.
Of course.
I hear things. I told you Harbaugh and Tomlin, probably one of them gonna come free. Don't know which one. One of them might be two gonna come free. I don't think Tomlin will be fired though. I will, no matter what happens, because that's not how the Rooney family works. And Omar Khan is absolutely loyal to Mike Tomlin. But if I know, you know who also knows? The Miami Dolphins. And if I was prepared, you know who also should be prepared? The Miami Dolphins. So I don't want no excuses. Now, I will say this. Harbaugh does not necessarily have to pick the Miami Dolphins. He can pick somebody else because he might be infatuated with Cam Ward. He might want to go live in Tennessee. He might just want to stay in the division and whoop Baltimore's behind and go to Cleveland. I doubt it, but it's a possibility. He might just pick up one day and say, I want to be in Atlanta. Don't think that's going to happen. But he might take a job with the Green Bay Packers because that supposedly LaFleur might be coming free. So it'll be
Are
interesting.
you breaking news right now?
No. So LaFleur got to win, baby. It can't just keep riding the way it's riding. But shoot your shot. Know where you are. If you shoot your shot and the chick ain't trying to give you her number, maybe she'll tell you follow her on Instagram. You hit her a couple times in the DM, she ain't respond back. Time to move on, player.
That's for real. And for the record, just because you asked me this earlier, I didn't necessarily fully answer the question. Like, I would want Harbaugh as the next coach for the Miami Dolphins. I just think Super Bowl winning coaches don't grow on trees, right? So if you have an opportunity and a chance to get him, I would want to land him. To me, he's the top guy in the coaching cycle right now. Now, my thing, though, is I'm just trying to be a realist, right? Like, does he really want Miami? Just considering everything that I just named. Like, and that, to me, that's a question that only he can answer.
And he might, you know why? Because it's a blank slate over here. It's not a blank slate everywhere else.
And that's what and I believe you brought that up, and a few other people have brought that up too. Like, you can kind of, if he's attracted to this idea that you can kind of make something in your image, right? That then the Dolphins to me are an obvious choice. But if he's looking to have something in place already, right, which obviously is a huge help, not to say that he's a candidate that could get fired after 1 year of, like, you know, no success. Like, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that, like, when you're walking into a situation, you want to have certain things in place.
Yeah. Or you just want to start fresh, and
you want to start fresh,
or you want to build it from the ground up. We will find out quickly what's going on in Harbaugh land. He's going to interview next week. I believe the word is Tuesday. We'll know. As I said, if the Dolphins keep you on red, if the Harbaugh keep you on red in the DMs, time to move on, player. On that note, Dolphins in depth. We will be back next week. We don't know when we got news. Stay in touch, and we will be here on the Miami Hero giving you all the information that you need.